I just want to say from the beginning, can you please leave a comment at the end of this video?
And how did that make you feel?
I don't have words for it, you know? I just have sounds. Perhaps you can just transcribe, you know, the meaning of these sounds. It's like... Don't be so stupid, Harry. You're embarrassing us.
You debuted a new look recently, Meghan.
Yeah, what do you think?
Well, the hair's nice, but on this new picture of you from your TED Talk appearance, you do look a little bit plastic.
See, we said plasticine, but you know, plastic works. It's just that sometimes, some of us, right, you know, we're lucky enough that even when we're in our early, mid-40s, you can still have those days where your skin's just like perfect, you know, like radiant.
So, Mr. Stallion, we've been treated to a story of you losing your virginity at 17 to an older lady in a field behind a busy pub, a horse lover who treated you like a young stallion.
I know. It's the stuff dreams are made of. Oh, come on. I mean, you know I like an older lady. I mean, I'm 38 and you're 41. Yeah, that's right. 41.
Well, the one thing we can be sure of is that the media are going to go full hog now to try and find out who the lucky jockey was, who we're guessing is probably in her 50s by now. Although you might find that many women come forward claiming to be the one wearing the stirrups, so to speak.
Yeah, you know, and it could become an I am Spartacus moment. Look, let's leave Cory Booker out of this. And I don't want any recriminations for this lady. I mean, yes, okay, she treated me like a prime cut of royal meat. She smothered him in mustard. Yeah, coarse-grained Dijon, in fact. But that's not the point. The point is that there were some mitigating factors.
Such as?
Look, first of all, that saddle would only suit someone with red hair. And second of all, no one else could be bothered to fiddle with all those manacles.
Crikey. Well, we have already had some high-profile 50-somethings come out and deny being the woman in question.
Yeah, I saw that Liz Hurley pled not guilty. No, I could never get that one over the line. Excuse me? Oh, everybody knows that Liz Hurley's a bit of a prude. You know, you're never going to get her to stray into something weird or unconventional. And besides, I think she's allergic to mustard.
Some lawyers have claimed, Harry, that your reckless admission to using multiple illegal substances might threaten your US visa.
That's so stupid. It was medicinal. Yeah, you know, Harry partaking in these substances, you know, it's not the same as, you know, it doesn't directly correlate with, you know, using drugs, you know, taking drugs. You know, he's not a druggie. You know, he's not like one of those, you know, street people. You know, sorry, what are they called again?
The homeless.
Yeah, that's it, the homeless. Ugh. Yeah, you know, they're drug takers, you know, drug users, you know, druggies. And they should be, you know, labeled as such, you know, and shunned. Whereas what Harry was doing was just using those substances to open up a pathway. So, you know, he could finally, you know, get to me, you know, in terms of, in spirit and in physicality. That's right. Don't compare me to some common crackhead, you know. I used it for spiritual renovation. Ah, rejuvenation.
Oh, so you are sympathetic to the idea of ingesting such substances, Meghan?
What, me personally? No, it's a filthy thing to do.
During the first episode of your podcast, Meghan, you shared a harrowing story about being forced to continue with royal engagements after a fire had broken out in your son Archie's bedroom, billowing deadly smoke.
It was traumatic. Really traumatic.
However, it appears that Archie wasn't in the room at the time. He was with a nurse instead.
I couldn't believe it. it didn't make any sense. I knew it was wrong. I knew it was wrong, but I was being made to continue. I was being forced to carry on. And for the royal family, it's all about how things looked and not how they felt.
Whereas Meghan and I make all of our decisions based on how we feel. I'm sure you'll agree. It hasn't done us any harm. Well, as obvious as that is, Harry, some might say, Meghan, that if we were traumatised every time something might have happened, we'd live our lives in a perpetual emotional despair, expecting others to bend to our neurosis.
It's a real sad indictment of the unbending nature of royal protocol. When a near miss like this, which could have done serious damage to my son, is supposed to be shrugged off, Just carry on, take it on the chin.
Instead of treating it with the seriousness it deserves and whining about it non-stop for a few days.
Yeah, and then take a few more to rediscover that calmness of spirit that's been lost to the drama.
Yes, but only a false drama created by yourself. And after we've found that calmness, it's time to reflect on the incident for a few weeks. Oh, I see. So imagined near misses will take about a month to recover from.
Yeah, a month, 6 weeks.
We have a question here from a Mr. Percival Penguin who wears suits you can't bend in. Mrs. Gwendolyn Guineafowl, with Samuel Satsuma, who loves rice but hates tuna. Dr. Daniel Nathaniel, who's rescued a spaniel. Petulia Pringle, who's 6 months single. Mr. Gavin Gannett from Thanet. Mrs. Philippa Flyover from Heathrow. Frederick Finbar Flutter, who has a problem with his stutter. Mr. Malcolm Marshmallow, who's a sweet but fluffy fellow, asks, Mr. Charlie Chester from Cirencester would like to know whether you set limits on the expense of the gifts you exchange at Christmas.
Oh, yeah. It's important to set limits,
Yeah, you've got to have boundaries.
As I say every year, never spend more than $1 million.
Oh, but never less than 500,000.
Yeah, I think that's, Harry's own personal lower limit,
No, it was in the prenup.
No, Harry, it wasn't.
Yeah, remember you got that $2,000 an hour lawyer to check the veracity before you let me slip the ring on your bony finger. Oh, such a romantic night.
I just think I'm going to TED Talk and I've got flawless skin, right? So, yeah, it eats people up. And if that's the case, you know what? I've got nothing but compassion for them.
She's all give. Well, Larry Lemon thinks you look like you've been replaced by your Madame Tussauds waxwork. Well, I can confirm that she doesn't sit too close to the fire at the moment, to prevent unwanted dripping. I'm just going to put a pair of sunglasses on right now because I am blinded by the sexism and the, what's that other one, Meghan, that's like sexism but makes you sound smarter?
Misogyny.
Misogyny on show here from Mr. Satsuma.
We've already shown that we've got a lot of expertise about life, and we have much more, to be discovered.
And we've got my story to share. How I went from a young fool, wasting his life, seduced by the sweet fruits of happiness, instead of properly concentrating on my mental health. Mariah Carey guested on your latest podcast release, Meghan, and in a delicious turn of events in the ever-ensuing Markle debacle, called you a diva.
Yeah, I originally thought it was like a dig, but then she informed me that it was meant in a positive, complimentary way.
Mariah thinks Meghan's amazing. Who doesn't? Isn't it funny, Meghan, that your immediate impulse was to cast aside someone who you perceived was offering you a mild criticism, giving a radiant credence to the claim that you use, then dump people after they displease you or are of no longer any value?
I don't think I've heard those claims, and even if I had, I don't think I pay them much attention,
Claims like that make us feel awful, awful. Indescribable. It's like...
Not now, Harry. And it is claimed that you were furious about the tagline, "She's just wild about Harry."
The palace wasn't best pleased either.
No, Harry, yes, apparently they were furious about the launch of your relationship in such a public and unexpected way. But why were you so unhappy with it, Meghan? I wanted it to focus on my philanthropic work, things that I've achieved off my own back. But did you not consider that without your behind-the-scenes rumoured romance with Harry, a member of the British royal family, that you would have never been considered worthy of a front-page photo shoot? Why not? And I mean that line, that stupid line, "Meghan's just mad about Harry."
Wild. Said you were wild about me.
And oh my God, Kris Jenner. Do you know Kris Jenner?
She's one of those awful Kardashian creatures.
Yeah, she officiated the service.
Oh yeah, she added a bit of class, a bit of substance to the whole affair.
It was just so beautiful, right? Just so right. It was just, I thought to myself, this is everything that I want to be involved in. There isn't anything more pure and more wholesome than this. This is the future. This is what the future we envisage. This is where we're aiming, right?
Yeah, I have to agree with my Meghan.
Shocker.
There is nothing more wonderful than seeing two good old birds finally tying the knot.
Well, as a point of fact, they weren't tying the knot. The knot had already been tied, so to speak.
Okay then, retying the knot. Oh, Meghan, actually, that's what we should do. We should renew our vows.
Oh, lovely. What?
Yeah, retie the knot until it gets tighter and tighter and it's so tight that you can never leave.
Yeah. How sweet.
Oh, I want to hear you say it, Meghan.
Yeah, okay. I too want to retighten the knot, tighter and tighter until you can't breathe.
My husband and I are thrilled to soon be welcoming a daughter. It's a joy that we share with millions of families around the world. When we think of her, we think of all the other families around the globe who must be given the ability and support to lead us forward.
It's slightly harder to get a direct translation there, but ballpark, we're talking, it is literally impossible for an average young girl to ever have the support my daughter will have, but it looks damn good to wish it were so, live on TV.
The entirety of your funding comes from two wealthy philanthropists, giving the impression that Archwell is no more than a charitable ruse aimed at pushing narratives and policies that appeal to the elite and their mischievous designs on societal change.
Conspiratorial tripe.
Wow, a 6-syllable word. Could you? And yeah, a couple of heavy wallets have come along and made some generous donations, but isn't that something that we should be celebrating? What are they doing? Right? They're helping us, they're empowering us to assist us in achieving our goals and our targets. And what exactly are your goals and targets?
We're flexible, We let the bigger donors dictate.
No, Harry, no, that's not how it works at all.
No. But more importantly, I'd like to return to an amazing point made a second ago by Meghan.
Which one?
When you said what a sheltered life she must have had to find such a small thing the worst thing she's ever had to do.
Yeah, and I mean it. Does she have any idea, the situations I found myself in life? Does she realize some of the things I've had to do, to get where I am?
We can only imagine, Meghan. I'm not sure I want to.
Yeah, but she's all in a tizzy because, there's a little bit of bad blood between family members, right? Grow up.
Meghan's lived with bad blood, for so many years, it just rolls off her like water off a duck's back, and she caused the bad blood.
Tell me what you wish, but please, do as I beg.
And what is that?
Force the entire population of the world to adopt my candy floss wokery?
Continuing on with our questions from viewers, Anne-Marie McMayweather from Windlesham would like to ask, returning to the Time magazine front cover, why you, Harry, agreed to make yourself look so weak, insignificant, and made of plasticine.
What? You mean in comparison to my Meghan and her strength and significance? Big crime.
Yes, but you have to admit, you wore black, sat with one feeble arm resting on her shoulder, with her standing in front of you, and your face photoshopped out of the realm of the animate.
I wore white, to stand out, which would be a boost for all the women out there, a strong message.
And I was part of that.
I didn't want women and girls to think of men as their protectors, so I didn't let Harry's left arm or hand come around my waist or my shoulder. I just let him dangle there, like a giant ginger epaulette, which makes him look weak and insignificant in comparison, which is not an attack on Harry. I mean, he's great. But an important redressal of ingrained stereotypes.
But how do you reply to those who say that even the mere suggestion of such an explanation in response to your half-brother's criticism suggests most strongly that you're penning your reply whilst locked inside the microwave oven of narcissism? It has been suggested that your Netflix documentary may be released as early as next month.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Oh, yeah. Very excited. That is, if excited meant terrified.
Yeah, Liz Garbus, the filmmaker, she was very much, in charge, right?
Oh, yeah. Nothing got past Liz.
She controlled the whole, tone of the documentary.
Hell-bent on pushing her own narratives.
Yeah, so some of the stories, may not be quite, how we would have told them.
You can't blame us. Nothing to do with us now. Basically.
Yes, Meghan, I heard about your crafty attempt to distance yourself from the documentary before it's even been released, leading many of us to assume it's going to be pretty scandalous.
Yeah, we have to wait and see. All I want to say is Liz Garbus, and her team were running things. Liz Garbus.
Yeah, that's Gubras.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, well, the important thing is that Liz did it.
That's right.
Yeah, but all in all, it's one of those things that, after a few months, everyone will be able to sit down and have a good laugh about.
Yes, I'm sure. Yeah, I can really see that happening.